Hello students, I am Ajay Kumar Srivastav, Senior Faculty in Botany at Sri Chaitanya. In the previous lecture, we were talking about the operon model. We said that Jacob and Monod gave a model called as operon model to elucidate the process of regulation of gene expression in prokaryotes or bacteria. As we said that in prokaryotes, the regulation of gene expression is mainly at the transcription initiation level, okay, and operon is a group of structural genes or group of cistrons that have a common regulatory gene and a common promoter. Now, the first operon that he gave to elucidate, that was lac operon. That is why lac operon is also called as the prototype operon. Okay. Now, what is it concerned to? Lac operon is concerned to the digestion of the disaccharide lactose in the bacterial cell. So, first of all, let us see the constituents of this operon and then we will discuss the mechanism. So, as we can see, first is the structural gene. So, a structural gene has 3 cistrons. Let us see one by one. LAC-Z. This codes for the enzyme beta galactosidase. Beta galactosidase. Remember, lactose is a beta galactoside and the enzyme digesting it is beta galactosidase. This enzyme, it splits the disaccharide lactose into 2 monosaccharides, glucose and galactose, because the main energy source for the bacterium E. coli is glucose. Okay. So, this is the first one, LAC-Z. Second one is LAC-Y. This cistron codes for a protein called as permease. Permeases are membrane proteins that help in absorption. So, this permease, it helps in absorption of lactose by the bacterial cell. Okay. So, LAC-Y, as I said, it codes for the protein permease. And third one is LAC-A. It codes for an enzyme transacetylase. So, LAC-A codes for an enzyme transacetylase that transfers acetyl group to the lactose. So, these are the 3 structural genes. Okay. Next, regulatory gene, and here you can see I have written I. So, remember, I can also represent inducer, I can also represent inhibitor. So, here I is representing inhibitor, I is representing inhibitor. Why? Because this regulatory gene I codes for a repressor protein, it codes for a repressor protein, and you know repress means to disallow someone to do his work. Okay. So, it represses the structural gene, that is why it is called as a repressor protein. And second very important thing is that this regulatory gene is a constitutive gene, it is a constitutive gene. If you remember, we have already discussed that on the basis of function, genes are of 2 types. First, constitutive gene that always remain active, okay, they do not have any switch on switch off mechanism, and other ones are luxury genes that have switch on switch off mechanism. So, this gene I is a constitutive gene. Why? Because it always remains active and keeps on synthesizing the repressor protein. Okay. Now, third one is promoter. Now, about promoter we have already discussed in detail during transcription. So, promoter, it is required for initiation of transcription, because during the initiation of transcription, the RNA polymerase enzyme, with the help of its sigma factor, binds to a specific site on the promoter, and in bacteria this site is called as Privno box. So, promoter is essential for the initiation of transcription. And last is operator. Operator is a gene that is present between, remember, present between promoter and first structural gene. So, operator is present between the promoter and the first structural gene, and you know the first structural gene is LAC-Z. So, these are the various constituents of the LAC operon. Now, we will see the mechanism of the functioning of LAC operon. The structure of the LAC operon. This is the gene I, or what we call as the regulatory gene, and here is a promoter for this gene, because this gene also synthesizes a protein which we call as the repressor protein. Okay. Now, here is our promoter, the promoter that controls the structural genes of the LAC operon. Okay. And I said between the promoter and first structural gene there is operator. So, this is the operator gene, and the three structural genes are Z, Y and A. So, these are the three structural genes. If you wish, we can write structural genes. Okay. Now, there are two situations, lactose present and lactose absent. Now, if lactose is absent, then there is no need to synthesize the enzyme for digestion of lactose. It means in the absence of lactose, the LAC operon remains inactive or switched off. How this happens, let us see. So, first of all, the situation is lactose is absent, lactose absent. Now, as I told that this gene I, it is a constitutive gene. So, it synthesizes an mRNA, and this mRNA on translation forms a protein called as repressor protein. Repressor protein. In the absence of lactose, this repressor protein binds to the operator, and prevents the accessibility of the RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter, or prevents the reach of the RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter. It means no transcription initiation takes place. So, there is no mRNA synthesized. So, no transcription, because repressor prevents the activity of RNA polymerase enzyme. It means the operon remains inactive or switched off, and as I said, it is very logical, because when the substrate is not there, there is no need for the enzyme to be synthesized. Clear? So, in the absence of lactose, the active repressor produced by gene I binds to the operator and prevents the accessibility of RNA or reach of RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter. As a result, there is no transcription initiation and the operon remains switched off. Now let us see the another situation when lactose is present. Lactose present. Now as I said, this gene is a constitutive gene. So for this gene, it doesn't matter whether the lactose is present or absent. It will always remain active. So this will produce an mRNA, and this mRNA will produce the repressor protein. But when lactose is present, lactose functions as an inducer. Okay. When lactose is present, it functions as an inducer. Why? Because it binds to, the lactose binds to the active repressor and makes it inactive. So see what is happening? This active repressor, due to binding of lactose, is converted into inactive repressor. Why? Because the binding of lactose to the active repressor brings about a conformational change in the repressor. As a result, the repressor fails to bind to the operator. Okay, it means now the RNA polymerase enzyme can bind to the promoter with the help of its sigma factor, and now it synthesizes the mRNA. Okay, so you see it undergoes transcription to synthesize mRNA. Remember, this mRNA is product of 3 cistrons. That is why it is a polycistronic mRNA. Polycistronic mRNA. And when this mRNA will undergo translation, remember, although this is a single mRNA, but it has information for synthesis of 3 types of proteins, 3 types of enzymes. So when this polycistronic mRNA will be subjected to translation, then 3 different proteins or enzymes will be synthesized: beta galactosidase, permease, and trans-acetylase. So these 3 enzymes will be synthesized. So remember, in presence of lactose, to digest the lactose, these enzymes are synthesized. It means in presence of lactose, the operon is active or induced. That is why this lactose is called as inducer. Okay. So you see, very logical thing, when substrate is not present, the operon remains switched off, and when the substrate is present, the operons becomes switched on. Now let us discuss some important points related to the lac operon. First of all, inducible operon. Inducible. Why we are calling it as inducible operon? Because you see, in the absence of lactose, the operon remains switched off. So the presence of lactose or allolactose. Allolactose is the isomer of lactose. The presence of lactose or allolactose induces the activity, of lac operon, Hence, this lactose or allolactose is called as inducer, and the lac operon is called as inducible operon. So, remember that inducer plus active repressor is equal to inactive repressor. Okay. So, otherwise the repressor produced by gene I is active, but when inducer binds to it, inducer brings about a conformational change into it and makes it inactive repressor. That is why lac operon is an inducible operon. Second thing is negative control. Negative control, very important. This control of lac operon through repressor is called as negative control. Why? Because if the repressor binds to the operon, then operon is switched off or inactive. So, this control of the operon through repressor is called as negative control. But lac operon is also under a positive control. What is that? Let us see. So, lac operon is also under a positive control. So, positive control of lac operon. Remember, this is the promoter and the RNA polymerase enzyme binds to the promoter. But alone RNA polymerase, binding of RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter, this is not very strong. Okay. So, RNA polymerase enzyme binding to the promoter is low, but when another complex called as cyclic AMP, CAP complex, CAP stands for catabolic activator protein. Remember, when we were discussing about regulation, we said that these additional sequences can either be a positive control or negative control. It can be a repressor or it can be an activator. So, you see this is, so this cyclic AMP CAP complex, cyclic AMP catabolic activator protein complex, when this also binds to the promoter, it promotes or enhances the chances of binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter. This is what we call as the cooperative binding. So, binding of this cyclic AMP CAP complex to the promoter increases the rate of transcription, because it promotes the binding of the RNA polymerase to the promoter. So, this control of lac operon through an activator is called as positive control. So, remember that lac operon is under both negative as well as positive control. Third important point, children, we have to understand about the permease. Now, when we say that lac operon is switched off, if lac operon is completely switched off, completely inactive, then there will be no permease at all. So, even if lactose becomes available in the surrounding, the bacterial cell will not be able to absorb that lactose to initiate the lac operon, okay, or to activate the lac operon. It means a low level of activity of lac operon should always be present, so that at least some amount of permease is present, so that when lactose becomes available, it can be absorbed. So, a low level of activity of lac operon is always present. Why? Because it will make at least that much amount of permease available, so that when lactose becomes available in the surrounding, it can help the absorption of this lactose. Okay, so these are some salient features of the lac operon. Now let us see what should be the conditions for the lac operon to become active. First condition is lactose is present. Of course, because lactose function as the inducer. But children, there is one more condition. Glucose is absent. Okay. Why? Because the preferred energy source for the bacterium is glucose. So if glucose is present, then it will directly use glucose to get energy. It will not look towards the lactose. Okay. But when glucose is absent, then it will search for the alternative source of energy, and then it will metabolize the lactose to obtain glucose from this, because lactose is digested into glucose and galactose. So remember this point very carefully, that for even in the even in the presence of lactose, the lac operon will not be active if glucose is present. So lactose should be present and simultaneously glucose should be absent, then only lac operon will become active. Okay. Third point. Repressor should not be bound to operator, because if repressor is bound to operator, it will not allow the lac operon to become active. Okay. And fourth is that cyclic AMP CAP, cyclic AMP catabolic activator protein complex should be bound to the promoter. Means this negative regulation should not be there and this positive regulation should be there. So these are the conditions. When all they are met, the activity of the lac operon is maximum. One more thing, a question has been asked in your NCERT. For how long do you think the lac operon will remain active? Generally we think till lactose is present. Generally we think that till lactose is present. No, this is not the answer, because we said even in presence of lactose, if glucose becomes available, lac operon will become switched off. So till the glucose level is low, glucose is low, it means as the lac operon is digested and lactose is digested by lac operon and the glucose concentration becomes higher and higher, this will gradually switch off the lac operon. So answer to this question is till glucose concentration is low. So children, with this we have come to the end of the lac operon. Not only this, we have come to the end of this chapter, molecular basis of inheritance. But I will do some questions, we will discuss some questions that have come in the previous years related to the operon model. Now students, let us see the questions. Okay. First, select the correct statement for lac operon. So as you can see, 4 statements are given here and we have to select those statements that are correct statements for the lac-operon. See, A. Glucose or galactose may bind to the repressor and inactivate it. No, this is wrong because the inducer is lactose, not glucose or galactose. So this statement is wrong. Okay. Next, in the absence of lactose, the repressor binds to the operator region. This is correct. When lactose is not present, the repressor produced by the gene I binds to the operator and prevents transcription. So this statement is correct. Next, C. The Z gene codes for permease. No, gene Z codes for beta galactosidase. Permease is coded by gene Y. Okay. So this statement is wrong. D. This was elucidated by Francois Jacob and Jacques Monod. Elucidation means to explain it. Yes, of course, the lac-operon was put forward and explained by Jacob and Monod. So our statement D is a correct statement. It means we have to select that option. We have to select that option that has B and D. Let us see. First A, B, no. Second B, C, no. Third A, C, no. Fourth, yes. This is our answer because this has both correct statements B and D. Okay, students. Now let us see the other question. The lac-operon consists of, what are the constituents of lac-operon? Remember, the lac-operon consists of 1 regulatory gene, 1 promoter, 1 operator and 3 structural genes. See, 4 regulatory genes only, no. 1 regulatory gene and 3 structural genes. Okay, I think this is our answer. Next, 2 regulatory genes and 2 structural genes. No, there is only 1 regulatory gene. Okay. Fourth, 3 regulatory genes and 3 structural genes. No. So remember, lac-operon has 1 regulatory gene, gene I, and 3 structural genes Z, Y and A. So this is our answer. So students, with this we come to the end of the topic molecular basis of inheritance. We have done various aspects of this topic, and 2 main things that we saw in topic is what is the chemical nature of gene and what is the mode of action of gene. And I think by the end of this class you have very properly understood the molecular basis of inheritance. I wish you all the best in your life. Have a great future ahead. Thank you.